Welcome to the deep dive. We take complex research, boil it down, and give you knowledge you can actually put to use. Today, we're diving into something. Well, if you have a cat, you've probably lived through it. Let's call it special delivery. We've all seen the evidence. Maybe a little bird on the doormat. Or, maybe you're like Remy's owner with her cat Kit, famous in some behavioral circles, apparently. Yeah, the story goes, dead mouse at 1:30 a.m., and then, just an hour later, a live mouse. Talk about follow through. And these moments, they fuel this really common idea, maybe a comforting one, that it's a gift, like pure affection. So our mission today is to really dig into that. We're looking at the biology, the behavior, the ecology behind why your cat does this. We're going beyond just the cute stories to understand the pretty skilled hunter that might be curled up on your sofa right now.
And we really have to go beyond those stories because understanding the why changes everything. How you react, how you manage it. It's complex. You've got instinct, hardwired stuff. You've got territory, social learning even. We need to look at why they do it, even when they've got a full bowl of food, what the cat thinks it's doing.
Yeah.
And crucially, what the science says about how we should respond.
Okay, let's start there then, the response. Because the common wisdom is often, oh, praise them, they brought you something.
Exactly. And that's the first thing to, well, debunk. Praising the cat actually reinforces the hunting, which, let's be honest, most people aren't thrilled about. The consensus among behaviorists is pretty clear on this. It's not a gift. It's a lesson.
A lesson. For me?
For you. They're treating you like you're a kitten who needs to learn how to hunt and kill. A clumsy kitten, maybe.
Huh. Okay, that shifts the perspective quite a bit. But why that lesson? Why not, I don't know, teach me how to groom myself better? Is the family idea too simple?
It's not too simple. It's just selective. Hunting is fundamental for survival in their world. The urge to hunt is instinct. But being good at it, that's learned. A mother cat teaches her kittens very deliberately. It usually starts around 4 weeks old. It's all about passing on that essential skill, getting food. And there are stages, really distinct stages. First, she'll bring home dead prey, eat it in front of them, show them how it's done. Then she brings dead prey just for them, lets them investigate, figure it out, eat it themselves. But the final stage, that's the key one for skill building. She brings home prey that's alive, maybe injured, so the kittens can practice, pounce, kill, the whole sequence.
And they just map that same process onto us humans.
Pretty much, yeah. They start with the dead mouse, probably thinking, okay, they'll get this.
Yeah.
But when the human, screams or just throws it away,
Yeah.
the cat thinks, okay, they need more help, a more active lesson.
So that's when the live ones show up.
Exactly. They figure the movement will finally click something in our apparently very slow predator brains. They're escalating the training. And interestingly, research points to spayed females being particularly prone to this. They have those maternal instincts, but no kittens of their own, so.
So we become the surrogate kittens. Got it.
Right.
This also maybe explains something else that feels uncomfortable when cats seem to play with their prey. Torture it, almost. Why does that happen?
Yeah, that looks rough to us, doesn't it? We see it through our own ethical lens. But for the cat, it can serve a few functions. For a well-fed house cat, maybe one that's mostly indoors, it can genuinely be boredom or pent-up predatory energy. If they don't get enough predatory adventure, as some call it, when they do catch something, they might want to make it last, prolong the fun, practice their moves.
So it's practice, but also maybe self-entertainment because their life is a bit dull otherwise.
It can be, yes.
Yeah.
Especially if their hunting drive isn't getting other outlets.
Okay, that clarifies things. And you mentioned it's not about hunger. The drive is separate. Which leads us to the next bit. Why bring it home? Why not just deal with it out there?
Right. The hunt itself is often the reward. Bringing it back is about something else entirely. Safety and territory.
The house, then. The doorstep, the pillow, that's the safe space.
That's the core territory. Absolutely. It's secure. They bring the catch there to eat without being bothered, or maybe hide it for later. Keep it safe from bigger predators, maybe other cats. Honestly, it's a huge sign of trust. They feel secure enough in that shared space with you to bring back something valuable like fresh prey.
It shows they trust the place, and maybe us by association, not that they're gifting the mouse to us specifically.
Precisely. It's about feeling safe with you in that space.
That explains some weird hiding spots, then. I heard about a cat who kept trying to stash shrews inside running shoes.
Oh, that's classic.
Yeah.
The shoe is like a little cave, a secure cache. Perfect hiding spot from the cat's perspective. And we see this same instinct with things that aren't prey, too. The symbolic offerings.
Like leaves.
Right.
Or socks.
Yeah. Random objects. Maybe a leaf blew in an interesting way, or a sock has an intriguing smell. They bring it back to their safe territory to check it out properly.
Okay, what about the indoor cat phenomenon? The one who catches, say, a favorite toy mouse, carries it around meowing really loudly, dramatically.
Yes, the "look what I caught" announcement. That often taps right into the same instinct. They're showing off their kill to their social group, which is you.
Sharing the spoils of the hunt, even if it's just a felt mouse.
Exactly. That loud meow is an announcement. I hunted. I was successful. Here it is.
Mhm.
Sometimes, too, especially if there's been a change, like moving house, a cat might do that with a specific toy, almost like a security blanket ritual.
Mm.
Bringing it to you makes them feel grounded.
It's definitely complex communication. But let's shift gears a bit, because this hunting instinct, while natural, has some serious consequences, conservation implications. This is where the research gets really interesting, especially this idea of between phenotype variation. Can you unpack that?
Right? This is maybe the most crucial part for understanding the wider impact of cats.
Yeah.
We tend to think of house cats as generalist predators. They'll hunt, whatever's around. But the research, it shows many individual cats act as specialists. That's the between phenotype variation. Different individuals, different hunting styles. One cat might focus almost entirely on birds, another on lizards.
So, not just opportunistic hunters, but specialists, like laser focused on one type of prey. How specialized are we talking?
We're talking highly specialized. There was a big study in Australia looking at cats who brought home 10 or more prey items. The differences were stark. Out of 26 cats, 8 specialized in small birds.
Hmm.
For them, birds made up something like 67% to 100% of what they caught.
Wow, up to 100% just birds.
Just birds for some. Then you had 5 who were almost exclusively lizard hunters, 88 to 94% lizards. 4 focused heavily on black rats, a few on larger birds.
That's incredibly focused. Does this specialization make them better hunters of that specific prey?
Oh, absolutely, dramatically better. Specialists get really high success rates on their chosen prey, much higher than they would on other types. Think about it. They learn specific tactics. The study mentioned a rabbit specialist who had a 94% success rate with rabbits. It learned to use a sit-and-wait strategy near burrows. Super efficient. Another example was vole hunters learning to use specific paths, cleared patches of grass, for stalking. They fine-tuned their approach.
And this specialization is where the real conservation risk comes in, right? Especially with scarcity.
Exactly. This is the critical point. A generalist predator, if one prey type gets scarce, will usually switch to something more abundant. Makes sense. But specialists, they often don't switch. They keep hammering away at their preferred prey, even when numbers are low. That same rabbit study found cats were still eating rabbits. Frequently. Rabbits showed up in almost half their scat sample sometimes, even when researchers could barely find any rabbits in the area.
So, one or two specialist cats could potentially wipe out a local population of something rare because they just won't stop hunting it, even when it's hard to find.
That's the major concern, yes. It might not be the overall cat population causing the issue in a specific location, but one or two highly effective, specialized hunters.
Okay, that really highlights the stakes. Which brings us to practical steps. We love our cats, but we need to be responsible. Let's start with handling the offerings safely.
Absolutely, number one priority. Safety. Never, ever touch prey like mice or voles with bare hands. They can carry diseases, Lyme disease, even hantavirus, which is serious. Always use gloves. If it's dead, double bag it, put it securely in the bin. Proper hygiene is key.
And dealing with the cat in the moment, especially if it's, a live mouse situation in the living room, how do we react without making things worse?
Stay calm. I know, easier said than done sometimes. But stay neutral, quiet, no big dramatic reactions, and definitely no punishment. Punishing a cat for hunting is pointless. It's instinct. Scolding just creates stress and damages your bond. A quiet thank you acknowledges the social aspect, maybe. Then dispose of the item when the cat isn't looking. That's important. If the prey is alive, try to contain your cat elsewhere. Open a door or window and let the poor thing escape if possible.
Right, neutral response. Okay. What about preventing it in the first place? Humane ways to reduce the hunting.
There are several good strategies. One is timing. Keep your cat indoors during peak hunting hours. That's typically dusk and dawn. Both cats and many prey animals are most active then. And definitely keep them in during spring when birds and amphibians are breeding and most vulnerable.
Okay, time restrictions. What about things like collars? Do bells actually work?
Bells can help. Maybe more for warning small mammals and birds, which rely more on sight. But there's better tech now. These brightly colored birds-safe collar covers. Research shows they're pretty effective. The bright colors break up the cat's camouflage, giving birds a visual warning like a flash of danger.
Interesting. And for indoor cats, satisfying that hunting drive is crucial, right? To avoid boredom behaviors.
Non-negotiable, really. You have to provide enrichment. That means interactive toys, feather wands, laser pointers, but always let them catch a physical toy at the end, puzzle feeders. And regular play sessions are key. Short bursts, maybe 10, 15 minutes, a couple of times a day. Let them stalk, chase, pounce, and kill the toy. That full sequence is important.
Let them feel successful.
Exactly. Let them have that kill bite, maybe even carry the toy off proudly for a second, then maybe offer a treat. It mimics the whole hunt. Oh, and diet might play a small role, too. Some studies suggest high-protein, meat-rich diets might slightly reduce the impulse to hunt, but it's definitely not a magic bullet. Play is more important.
And if you have a yard, making it safer for wildlife.
Yes, definitely. Create safe zones, dense shrubs, brush piles where little critters can hide. Make bird feeders inaccessible to cats. If you have a pond, make sure it has steep sides. That helps protect frogs and newts, which are easy targets otherwise.
Okay, so wrapping this up, we started with that slightly gross image of a doorstep gift. And we've ended up with this really complex picture. The cat as a teacher, a family member who trusts us, but also this incredibly specialized hunter. Their offerings are clearly more than just random. They're packed with meaning, even if it's inconvenient for us.
Absolutely. And that individuality, that specialization, is the real challenge for managing their impact. General approaches might miss the mark completely. Putting out general deterrents might not stop the one cat in the neighborhood that's become an expert at catching, say, rare lizards.
Which leads to some difficult ethical territory, right? Like targeted control methods in conservation areas. Is that common?
It's usually reserved for situations with high conservation stakes, where a specific threatened species is demonstrably at risk from specific cats. It's complex. It might involve trying to identify the problem individual's prey preference and using targeted baits or lures just for them. It's difficult, resource-heavy, and obviously needs careful ethical consideration. But sometimes it's deemed necessary to prevent local extinction. And this brings us to a final thought. Something for you, the listener, to maybe chew on. We know cats specialize, but we actually know surprisingly little about how that preference develops the ontogeny, the process, or how it's maintained. So thinking about those high stakes, what role does early experience play? What the mother cat catches? What kittens are exposed to? Could that set a kitten on the path to being a bird specialist versus a mouse specialist? We don't fully know. And figuring that out, that's a really important area for future research.